Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Don't touch that dial. Listen, we had this show here, I guess, is one of the most important shows for any citizen, anyone that turns 18 or becomes a registered voter. His obligation to vote, and also when you get a summons to the mail to be part of a jury. So we have two people from the courthouse that that's their job, selection for who goes on the jury and who don't, okay? So, and I'm going to do like they do in Madison Square Garden. In this corner, Marie. All right, Marie, I always like everybody to say their own name, okay? Marie.
Marie Cavanaugh.
Right? Well, wait, Marie N. Cavanaugh. What's the N stand for?
Neil. It's my baby name.
What is it?
Neil.
Neil.
N-E-A-L-E.
How'd you get that name?
For my Irish father.
Hey, get ready for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Okay, we're getting ready for that. We're going to have a show on that. And, all right, and you are one of the members, two members, right? Two, and the jury selection. That's the title. Okay. Now, your name is, full name.
Joanne Cisco Olszewski.
Cisco, there's a guy, a policeman in Norristown, but it's Cisco.
I know.
Hey, you're my niece.
How you doing, Uncle Hank?
Oh, Uncle Hank. Hey, this is great. Now, I never dreamed that my little bambino is now in the jury commission. Okay, so really, what we're here today, it's really a lot of people don't realize when there's a court case that they have to have, this is, the democratic way of doing things. And so they get, oh, I want to get out of it, I can't do this and I can't do that. Look, it's an obligation, and it makes it a lot easier. Years ago, you get jammed in for a whole week. Now they can do it. So I want you to start off. Marie, you've been there, and you're many years at the courthouse. I remember when I was a county detective, when I was a policeman. So you want to start off and just tell us something about your job. Now, your job basically is.
Okay, our job is elected. The law requires
You're elected?
Yes, we're elected officials.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The law requires two, and they cannot be from the same political party.
Oh, in other words, one's Democrat, one's
Right,
Republican.
Joanne's a Democrat, I'm the Republican.
Okay.
I've
Don't
been there.
fight now, okay.
We don't fight, we get along very well, don't we?
And that's not to say that in 50 years there would be a Libertarian and a Green
Right.
Party. But right now it's Republican and Democrat.
Right.
Yeah, we have a bipartisan office, so there's no reason to think that
No,
one
that's
party
right,
or the
right.
other is preference. We have, our system is one day or one trial. You talked about years ago, they used to come in for 2 weeks. And in some counties, indeed, they're on call every day for 2 weeks. But we just bring you in for one day. If you don't get selected for a trial, you go home that day. If you do get selected, then you have to come back for as long as the trial lasts.
Okay. In other words, now when someone, all right, now let's say that somebody said, well, I can't make it. He might have some kind of problem. What are some of the things that you excuse him for?
Well, the first thing is age. You have to be 18 years of age.
Okay.
Most people think that the only way that you get chosen for jury duty is because you have registered to vote, and that is not the case. We've got what we call a wheel, which is a huge computer system of Montgomery Countyans, but the people are chosen because they are registered to vote or through the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Oh.
So if you drive a car, you have almost as much chance to be chosen because you drive a car as the fact that you are registered to vote. By law, though, Marie?
We can take it from any public record. We can take it from the phone book.
Oh, yeah?
We could take it from property
You can't hide.
records.
You can run, but you can't
That's
hide.
right, you got it,
Jersey
Hank.
Joe Walcott, right? You can run.
Bobbing and weaving.
That's what Jersey Joe Walcott said. You can run, but you can't hide, So, okay, now, you get through the mail. Show me what you get through the mail. Can you just run me through that?
Sure. This is our summons that we send through the mail. It's computer generated randomly from a list of what started out about 400,000 names a year or so ago. We select 400 Monday through Friday and 300 on Friday because Friday's our lightest day. Mm-hmm. That's completely random from that list that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And so 400 people roughly for each day the court's in session will get this summons. And on the front part, there are some questions which tell us whether or not you're qualified. Mm-hmm. For instance, students who are away at college can be disqualified, or not disqualified, but at least excused for the time that,
Excused,
right, they're
okay.
in school. If you have a medical problem, if you're not a citizen, you're not qualified. If you don't
Okay.
live in the county, you're not qualified.
How about if a guy's in jail? Yeah, I often wondered if does he lose his rights to vote or to be a, I guess do they go in and if a guy's going to run for office, can he go in the jail and start signing the petition? I guess.
I don't know about that, Hank, but if you have served, or if you have been convicted of an offense that is a felony,
Felony, okay, I see.
that
Yeah.
would require more than a
Yeah.
year in jail, or
Oh,
could
okay.
require. You
Okay.
don't necessarily have to get more
Disorderly
than a year.
conduct or something like that, or, spit on the street or
DUIs, you can
something.
come in, but if you're convicted of a felony, then you don't qualify.
Yeah, we don't want, I don't
Exactly.
want a felon guy going there
Absolutely.
telling me,
Absolutely.
And then this here, what do you do here?
Well, this little block here with the red juror is perforated, and we tear it off, and we put it in this little badge cover, and they wear it on their clothes
While they're in the
the courthouse. And one of the reasons that we do that is so that if they're in the hall or in an elevator, and there's some lawyers or some other personnel walking around, they know that jurors are among them, and they won't talk about the
You can't
particular
talk about it,
cases.
right,
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
okay.
Let's back up just a minute,
Go ahead.
though. You
Good.
received this
I
in
want
the
to know
mail.
everything before we leave here. I want to know everything.
Okay, you
teach
receive the summons in the mail, you open it up, and you look at it. You have to fill out the front portion, fill out the back questions, sign it. If there is something on here, some reason why you cannot fulfill the obligation of being a juror because you have checked off the fact you've got a medical problem or whatever, there's a section here for remarks that you can fill that out.
Okay.
You also can return the summons, so to speak, on the internet.
With an excuse.
Marie?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, tell me about that.
Yes,
Go ahead.
you can do it online. You can respond to that summons online by answering the questions. There's also, I guess
Well, wait, if you want to get online, what's the?
I was just about to say, the
Go ahead, I'm
website is
sorry.
www.montcopia.org/ijuror, IJUROR, and that enters
Yeah,
you
we're gonna
into
try
our
to
system.
And it
Flash that
tells
on
you
the- on
that.
the
It
screen.
tells you that on the summons.
In the
That
instructions
information
here.
is on the instructions.
Right.
But let's say a guy get this in the mail, and a guy refuses, don't respond. Do you have a follow-up
Yes.
letter or phone call, or do you go at them with a rope?
All of the above.
Go ahead.
Joe.
No, the second thing that would happen, well, number one, we would hope that you receive it. Many times people do not receive it because they have moved or they're
Oh, okay.
deceased or whatever.
Legitimate.
So when those things come back to the office, then we automatically take you
Yeah.
off of the computer list. When you return that, what you do is you fill it out, you take off the top piece, it's perforated, you take off
Go
the
ahead.
top piece, and you mail back
Go ahead,
the
do it.
bottom section.
Show me.
You
Whip
mail
it.
you mail off the bottom section.
Yeah.
And when you mail it back to us, the staffers in the office, that's what they process.
What do you mail
That's-
back? This
You
here?
mail back that
Right.
section. And we
And we give you a
enclose,
business reply envelope.
Okay, you get, so that's
address.
Attention Jury Commission, Montgomery County. So there it is.
You don't even have to put a stamp on it.
No problem. I don't want to hear any excuses.
We also send out with that a map of the courthouse area.
Okay.
So you
There's
know
a
where to
map here
park.
to show you how to get there, okay? You don't have to need any smoke signals or anything that you
And
can
that
get there.
explains the parking.
Parking. And then you have, when you come here, well, before we go, now, you get it. Okay, let's run it through. You get a summons and you report to, I drive my car. What do I do? Where do I park it? Do you have a
You park
special parking?
in the parking garage on Main Street, the high-rise,
And
2 or
there'll be
3
a
floors.
sign out there saying.
Oh, there's signs all over, juror
Okay.
parking, right, exactly.
Okay, then where do they go? They go in the courthouse.
And they go in the courthouse through the security, because there's,
Yeah, that's
just like
another
the
thing.
airport.
How about no guns, no knives, no
Yeah.
machine guns or anything? You get security.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know, no pen knives and stuff like that. That's a good thing, because you go to the courthouse, make sure you don't take anything, metal, you have to check it.
No scissors, not even knitting needles.
Yeah. Hey, how about nail clippers? They took them.
I don't know if they take that.
I don't know if they
I know my wife and
Pepper
I.
spray.
And my wife, we flew someplace and we had put one of the things, to open a bottle of wine, we're going to have some wine.
Oh,
That's
quick screw.
They didn't even use it.
I imagine they could do some damage.
But, okay, now,
So you've parked your car, you've walked into the courthouse, and you're in the hallway outside of the jury marshaling room. And that's where you get checked in by the jury marshaling supervisor and that person's assistant. The barcode on this is really your identification
okay.
of who you are, and this helps you to be identified
In other words,
in the
when they sent
marshaling
that through the
room.
mail, that identifies
on
it
there.
right there.
Yes,
Right.
it's right there. It's right
We have
there.
a scanner, just like the supermarket.
Oh, okay, just like the supermarket, yeah.
And you get scanned in, which goes into the computer, and then we know that you're there. Because all of this paperwork and the tracking is important, because later that will determine whether you are chosen randomly to go up for a panel, or if it turns out that you're not needed as a juror, this number is how you get paid.
And then-
Because you do get paid for being
Oh,
a
okay.
juror.
I want to hear now, okay, now.
Don't get too excited.
Don't get too excited.
All right. I know, the county pays you weekly, very weekly, okay? You know, well, how much you get a day for
Marie
going
can
to
tell
the...
you how weekly.
Go ahead. Who wants to take that answer?
It'll be my fault, huh? That's something that's passed by the legislature
You don't- it's not
years
yours
ago. No, it's not our decision. We pay jurors $9 a day for the
Wow.
first 3 days that they're there. If they are there longer than 3 days, starting on the 4th, they get paid $25 a day,
Oh,
plus mileage.
very few.
Plus mileage.
Yeah, very few cases go more than a couple of days, I
You're
guess,
right.
unless it's a big murder case or
The average case is a day and a half, 2 days.
So you get $9 a day for the first
3.
3. After that, it's $25 a
$25 a
day.
day.
And mileage, how much, to get so much a mile?
17 cents?
17, something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
it's-
I remember
it's
when I
not
was a
much.
county detective, we used to get mileage. But you'll get mileage, don't worry about it.
So it pays for lunch, pretty much.
Yeah, and, okay, now, here we go, we're over there, we get there, I get to see her, they put my badge, all right, then they,
Okay, there's an orientation. We have a video that we show
Orientation.
that tells you what happens
wait,
when
they
you're
went to a
jury.
marshalling room, they call?
Right. It's like a
Okay.
big auditorium.
A big
like an
auditorium,
auditorium.
okay. That's
with-
in the courthouse,
It's in the courthouse.
the old original courthouse.
old original.
Right, down in the dungeon.
You got it.
That's where your office is, down
Right
under
across the hall.
Not the big steps, but the little steps around the,
Little
you know,
steps
there's,
around the
there's the
corner.
big grand
Right.
steps, right? And then there's
Yeah.
the grand
Well,
steps in the
technically, it's plaza level.
plaza. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
plaza.
we're kind of
Means
at the
a cellar.
bottom.
Ain't kidding.
But we have a window.
We have windows.
We have a wonderful window, Hank.
Oh, yeah?
The view
What do you
from our
see?
window, we see the 9/11 tribute statue.
Oh, okay.
The hand with
Good.
the, with,
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
beautiful,
That's
so-
John Duran had a lot to do with
Yes,
getting
he
that.
did.
Sheriff
Yes, he
John
did.
Duran had a lot to do with that. Okay,
did,
now,
so-
you went to the marshalling room, right? You know, I heard stories where people went into the, you know, not applied, but
We're some.
went in, right, summoned, and went in there. And they got to know people there. They got new friends.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a couple met and got married, you know, later on. You know, I said, yeah, I met, where'd you meet? In a marshal room. You know, really,
not
it
surprised, sure.
happens, getting to know people. Where do you get to know people now? Either shopping center or, you know, at the courthouse or wedding or funeral, you know. So at least you go there, you'll meet some new friends.
You do.
It's a great experience.
You do.
Okay, now, you're in the marshalling room. What happens then? They start telling everybody what to do.
pretty much.
Well, a film is shown which describes the judicial system and what you can expect when you go into the courtroom if you are called and put on a panel to go to a courtroom. Many people, well, most people, when they come to jury duty, it's probably the first time they've ever had any
Yeah.
contact
Right,
with
right.
the judicial system. And we're very pleased as of late because we have some judges that are coming down in the morning, every morning, and talking to the jurors, giving them an
Good.
opportunity to ask questions. I think it's a,
Do you have one particular judge that's in charge for a month or 6 months or so, that in charge of the marshalling room, that come down and threaten? Or does he
The
just
jury
stand there and
board-
ask for, they used to do that when the people would go before the judge and tell why they want to get out. Is that still, they do that?
That happens in the courtroom. That happens in the
I
courtroom.
thought I remember, if I remember,
Yeah.
Judge Smiley used to do that. Get in the marshalling room, and the people wanted to be excused. And he would refuse them or tell them, sit down,
They
I'll
don't
lock
do
you
that,
up.
they don't do that in the jury marshalling room, no.
No?
No.
No. We pre-excuse anybody who contacts us beforehand.
Before.
But if somebody has an emergency or something like
Oh,
that,
okay.
or if the case is going to be long, the judge will say this is going to take 5 days or 12 days or whatever it happens to be. Is this a hardship for anybody?
But the judge comes in and talks to people and
Well,
just...
that's
this is-
different. This is in the courtroom. This is
Oh, in the
after we
courtroom.
send,
Okay,
This is
after
in
they've
the
selected...
courtroom.
Oh,
after
okay,
we've
okay.
sent 40 people or 50
Right,
people up
right.
to the judge to select his 12 or 14 or whatever he needs.
That's great,
So
that's
they
great.
have the opportunity to say that to the judge at
And
that
the
time.
jury board is technically made up with, the jury board, jury commission selection committee is made up of the president judge, who at this time, and we just got a new president judge, Judge Corso was the president judge for 5 years. The new president judge is Judge Richard Hodgson.
Oh, yeah,
And he, so to speak, is Marie and I's boss, even though it's
yeah.
three
Yeah,
people.
it's
It's the
three
two
people.
commissioners and the president judge,
yeah.
Judge Hodgson.
That's what, when the judge starts a case or something, he'll look and say, where's the jury? You know?
Right. Well, they call down-
You play a very important part. You
Absolutely.
can't get, guy can't get, a trial without the jury, so that's great.
But you asked earlier, do we go after the people that don't show up?
Okay,
And
right.
that's true. In fact, this week we have what we call a contempt hearing, 4 times a year or twice a year, depending upon how many.
Contempt of court.
Yep. If you don't show, if you don't
What judge?
communicate with
A
us.
regular common pleas court judge?
Yes.
Okay, not a district judge.
Now, the president judge can appoint somebody to do that for him, and
Okay.
Judge Branca, Judge Thomas Branca right now
Right,
is
yeah.
our jury judge.
Friend, my father was a
Yes.
sergeant in our town police.
And
In fact, I taught him how to box.
did you?
In fact,
He's a wonderful man.
Well, we give people a lot of opportunities to respond.
Yeah,
They get the jury summons, and then when they don't respond, when there is no return from the summons, then what we call a second notice letter is sent out.
Oh,
And
you
that
said-
letter
oh, okay.
says,
Because maybe something,
we sent you a
somebody
summons, you
stole the
did
mail
not
or lost
respond.
or,
Right, right.
Yeah, well,
And-
that's being fair,
Oh, yes.
So if you're being fair, I think it's no more than right for people to respond for a most important thing as far for, democracy, and, that's what it's all about. All right, now, you're selected, you go in the big courtroom, and then you have 2 lawyers, you're going to be selected for the jury for a case. And then you have 2 lawyers. You have the district attorney, and you have the defense attorney. And they look at the people, and they start selecting who they want. And I just wondered what they look for. Well, they have, one other thing. When the district attorney looks and he wants to know what the person's background is, like if it's a divorce case or something,
A divorce case wouldn't have a jury.
what's that?
A divorce case would not have a jury. It's not one of the
Oh,
things
no?
that have a jury, no.
Divorce case?
But you do have
Unless
other,
somebody beat somebody up during the divorce.
then it would be different, then it would be an assault case.
And then if
but,
it's
yeah.
assault,
Oh,
a
okay,
criminal.
that's good to know. In other words, yeah.
That's criminal. Now, there's also civil cases. You and I have a disagreement, you hit my car and I'm suing you for
Yeah.
whatever, that's a civil case.
That can go to jury.
And that has,
And that can use a
have
jury. However, the prosecutor, the district attorney wouldn't be involved in that, it'd be two lawyers.
two
one
lawyers
representing you, one-
representing each
Sometimes
side.
arbitration settles it,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, happens that way too.
I think it's a great experience for people
is.
to, when they get this notice, to respond. It's great, not only to meet other friends, who knows, you might, if you're a lonely heart and you want to, looking for a husband or a girlfriend or something, hey, girlfriend? Oh, yeah, okay.
Matchmaker.
Straighten that out.
Well, one of the things we hear all the time, people come in, and we realize it can be an inconvenience. We realize that there are other things people would like to be doing on that day rather than sitting in that marshalling room, waiting to be called, waiting to serve for $9. But when people serve on a jury, we have never had anyone come off and say, that wasn't really that was a fantastic
Right.
experience. I'm really glad that I did it. I learned a lot. I feel like I did my civic duty.
Right.
So when the judges come down in the morning, they thank the prospective jurors because many times in criminal cases, in fact, it happened today. We had people called in for jury duty, and both of the cases, the defendant pled guilty. And a lot of times it's because they know that there are jurors sitting down there waiting to come up
Right,
and
right.
judge them. So it makes a big difference because the whole bedrock of our democracy is
Right.
of the trial by jury of peers.
By your peers, right. And
exactly.
That's, hey, I heard way back, I don't know, before hearing aids were so perfected, and I have hearing aids. So watch what you say back there, okay? I can hear you, the cameraman. Guy was in jury, sitting there for 3 days, and he was stone deaf. And they never checked his hearing, but he was reading lips. But when the district attorney or the defense attorney was going back and forth, he picked up. But they found out that there was a not mistrial, I guess they would call it.
Could be.
But they had to do the thing all over again because
That would be a mistrial.
they don't give a hearing test or anything like that.
No, but we have.
You ask for any kind of physical ailments or anything?
We do, and if they have hearing problems, we do have, we can get an interpreter, a sign language interpreter, and we also have
Oh, that's interesting.
earphones with magnification of sound.
Yes.
So if they
Is
want
that
to serve,
something
yeah.
recent?
It's, well, I've been there 6 years, and it was there, that was in place before I
Yeah.
got there. So we have to accommodate
Whatever.
people with disabilities. We have a wheelchair lift.
Let me answer, back up. You mean to tell me if there's a trial going on and there's this juror is on there and can't hear, they use the sign language?
They have to let us know ahead of time because we have to hire somebody to come in, but yes, we will do that.
But wouldn't would not request to have them on the jury, most likely, they wouldn't select them. The district attorney or the defense attorney wouldn't really want a guy or girl.
I wouldn't think they would be able to discriminate, Hank.
Yeah, I know, but
If the person
if
is in
you're not getting-
place.
You don't feel,
Yes.
I know if I was a lawyer, I'd wonder, if a guy miss a sign, it cost somebody his case. I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't know
it's interesting,
how the
you know?
lawyers feel about it. I've never asked anybody about that, but we do provide that if
Well,
if
that's
they ask
great.
for it. We need to know that ahead of time.
And, and how long you been doing this now?
Well, I was appointed in August of 2005. The jury commissioner that was there for many years, Colleen Alexander, retired and moved out of the county.
Right.
And I was appointed
All right.
by Judge Corso swore me in, and then I ran for office at exactly the same time that Marie
Both
did
ran
for
on-
her second
Right,
term.
okay.
So I'm in my
2005.
first full
Now,
four-year
you're-
term.
A little bit background too. You before you moved this area, you were involved in politics way back in where, Maryland?
Yes, I lived in Maryland for 20-some years. I worked for a Maryland state senator. And then when I moved back here, I'm originally from Springfield Township, so I'm a Flower Town girl.
Or Cisco's Bar, I just hit that bar there. You're in,
Yes,
you're in
you
Flower
did
Town,
used to
stop in for a
attend
good
bar there.
hoagie or cheesesteak.
And then I was always interested in politics, and then when I came here, I became involved again, and I did work for Congressman Joe Huffle.
Yeah.
And Marie and I have kind of always laughed because our lives run kind of parallel. I'll let Marie
tell
tell
me,
you
yeah.
about her
Right,
little
right.
background. I worked for a state senator, and then I worked for a United States congressman, and now I'm jury commissioner. And Marie,
Marie, I know.
When we knew each other,
I
I was.
remember you
Sure.
way back.
I was working for the House of Representatives. I did that for 15 years or so.
That was
I worked for Joe Lassinger.
Joe
I worked for
Lassinger.
Bob Butera.
Bob.
And
He
then-
ran for lieutenant. He ran
He
for
ran
governor.
for governor.
Governor.
Yeah, that's
Right.
when Joe took his
You
place.
working with him then?
I was working with him then. And
Well, I'll
then,
tell you, you got two experienced people there. They can't, when
Yeah.
somebody calls up and starts to give you a story, you know how to handle it, right?
we've
Both
heard
of
it
them.
all.
yeah, and like Joe, I worked for a senator. I worked for Senator Greenleaf, and then I worked for Congressman Fox when he was in
Oh, yeah,
office.
yeah.
So we've both had the
He was a
experience.
commissioner and then
I was with
state
him there.
representative.
And Congressman.
And we've both been active in our party
Yeah.
activities.
Well, I feel we're in good hands. My tax money is being spent, All right, now, this, the jury is mandatory. This is, when everybody turns 18, right? 18?
They're eligible.
They're eligible.
All right, okay. So, I think we covered everything. I think we covered. Anything that I didn't cover that I want to put in here?
Well, I think we'd like to brag a little bit. We are the first county in Pennsylvania to have childcare. It used to be mothers with young children were excused, and that took away a lot of the pool. So if they have young children, they can bring the child with them. And it's free, and it's licensed, and it's really wonderful. We get rave reviews from mothers who
Yes,
do
they
that.
have a
Well,
great
we got-
child care system.
Yep.
We got I'm very proud, we all should be proud of our county, really. We got county workers. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home and give me some info that eventually you're going to get one of these through the mail and respond, come in there and meet some new friends. Now, on behalf of the Hank Cisco Show, I want to give you both a little thing. It says, thanks for being a guest on the Hank Cisco Show, Comcast Channel 27, Northtown TV. Okay?
Thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you very
And,
much,
Thank you very
Hank.
much.
It was
And
good to see you.
Thank you.
Bridgeport Trophy
Thank
to
Give
make
a
it up
buzz.
for me. They really did a nice job, so I
That
really
is, that's
appreciate it. So
beautiful.
I want that
Very
in
nice.
your office so
Very
everybody will
nice.
know that, you were there.
Absolutely.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Get your thing, and let's say in Italian, Olszewski.
Salute.
Right? Our town, Cisco's Bar. You'll see me there eating a hoagie. Olszewski.